Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today on the APK, we're going to be checking out the Dr. Octopus Superior Octopus uniform, and then we're also going to be checking out the Red Skull Hydra armor. Now, the reason why I haven't made fully dedicated videos to either one of these two new uniforms, or for that matter, any of the new characters in the APK thus far, is because things are just not the same on the APK. You know, there's no place like home on the live server, so they're not my cards, they're not my character builds, it's not my raid level, it's not my world boss stage, and also we have, of course, the infamous striker changes to have to contend with and deal with that we will be seeing in the live server in a few days. So that is why I haven't made dedicated videos for these characters yet, and that's why today's video is not going to be a deep dive, because it just doesn't make any sense to go into a ton of detail for characters and for uniforms that could change. You know, we hope not to see any nerfs, but there could be changes to the way these kits work. And so giving too many details and sort of stamping out a final review when they're not even live on the server for me to test on my own build is just probably going to be misleading, and is not going to serve as a helpful way of understanding these characters prior to them coming out. And, you know, even when they come out, it's not like there's one day to buy the uniforms. You've got like a week to buy the uniforms. So even after the update is live, we still have a week with which to decide whether to get them or not. So there's no rush whatsoever to get these uniforms. But I know you guys want to see them, and I want to show them off for you. So I apologize for not doing this sooner, but I just want to explain why I'm taking a different approach with the APK. Also, I covered the other things that I thought were more important at the time because they have a negative impact on the game, and because I know that there's going to be controversy and there's going to be backlash and things like that. And, you know, maybe there's a small chance, there's never a guarantee, but maybe there's a small chance that the devs are listening, are reading comments, are seeing the reactions here on Reddit, on the forums, etc., and they will take that into consideration, and maybe they will tweak some things or change some things or revert some things before the update is live. So there is also that, but I will be addressing the striker changes in a future video, in the next video after this one, because there is additional information that I have since confirmed, which I couldn't confirm in the last video, that actually makes things, unfortunately, worse. So yeah, sorry to kind of cliffhanger you and you know, leave you with that. But on the flip side, they have massive buffs to two existing villains that were actually quite weak before. So there's bad and there's also good. So Hydra Red Skull and Superior Dr. Octopus. Let's get into it. So for Hydra, for Superior Dr. Octopus, they've changed him to speed from combat. As you can see here, he was combat with these with his original look, and then of course with his Superior Spider-Man uniform, but they've now made him a speed type character. Just to be clear, for all characters, it doesn't matter what their type is with their uniform as far as ranking up goes. So you're not going to use speed Norn Stones to get his mastery up. You're not going to use speed type enhancement kits to get his type enhancement up. You can see there you still need to use combat. So same thing goes for Captain America. You're not going to be using blast stuff for him if you're going to tier 3 Captain America. I know the video's not about Captain America, but I just wanted to cover this. If you're going to tier 3 Captain America, you're not going to use blast books. You're going to use combat books. You're going to use combat kits and all that stuff. It's a bit confusing, but that's just the way that it is. So for Dr. Octopus, they actually changed a lot. We've covered his uniform effect already, which gives him a damage proc whenever he uses his third skill, Tentacle Shockwave. Now, what's a little bit unclear for me is the buff of Tentacle Shockwave. Does that trigger on the skill itself if Dr. Octopus doesn't cancel the skill? Because as you'll see, when I press the skill, the buff appears there, but it's unclear whether it affects the skill or not. Presumably it doesn't affect the skill itself, but the skill, as you can see, is really, really cool. So I kind of don't want to cancel this effect, because it's cool, it provides him with immunity, and it seems to do decent damage. But you get the immunity and you get the buff pretty much straight away. So you do technically want to cancel that third skill when, you know, every 10 seconds. So it's about every other rotation, because of the fact that it gives you that juicy 200% damage proc, which is insane. And you could stack that up, and you could have damage procs triggering, you know, every 7 seconds and every 10 seconds. So it's like twice every 10 seconds from a regular damage proc obelisk or like a CTP of some kind. And then also from his third skill buff. He's got an iframe, I believe, on his second skill. He's got just a regular damage on his first skill. His regular passive, I think, has been buffed up from whatever it was. I don't think it's physical attack here. Okay, it's 15 there. I think it's 10 on his base kit. and now, oh no, it's still 15. And now it's been bumped up to 20, but the real juicy stuff starts to go on with his 4th skill. His 4th skill is a full iframe. His 5th skill is a full iframe with all defense down for 10 seconds, up to 30%, like Captain America. Really, really nice. And then his 6th skill. His 6th skill is absolutely insane. I covered it very briefly, but I want to show you guys some content with it now. So Dr. Octopus, let's get into it. This is a stage 38 just for reference. Yes, I have a CTP of Rage, but check out this without the SFX on. Even without the SFX on, you've got a really cool animation. It basically just follows Dr. Octopus as he gets carried by Vulture. Now, the damage there wasn't very good because I wasn't able to crit at all. But again, I wouldn't take the damage of this stage very seriously because you have a situation where, again, not my raid level. Okay, I got canceled there. Oh, it didn't get canceled. That's nice. But you've got, you know, the raid level. You've got strikers. You've got the build. You've got the card differential. Everything is different. But, you know, you can see that it's like a completely new character. I would say if you have any desire to play as Dr. Octopus, this uniform is probably a must-buy. Check this out. So we're going to try and land it. This is the 200% damage proc, plus my CTP activating, plus the buffs from the skill. And as you can see, the buffs from the skill last so damn long. But yeah, he's just really fun to play. He still feels like Dr. Octopus, but obviously he also feels different. 3 iframe skills, and 2 is almost a full iframe. 3 iframe skills, and that crazy 6th skill. He is going to be just a blast to play, but also just very, very strong. Basically, the only thing he's missing is a heal, but if you play your cards right, you're not going to be getting hit much anyways. And then you always have, every 30 seconds, you have that sort of panic button that you can press, not only for massive damage, but also for protection. You got the invincibility, the 10 seconds of invincibility every 30 seconds. You've got the 10 seconds of debuff, which will remove the tornado effect. Maybe not the tornado effect, because you can't cast it while you're tornadoed. But it'll remove, well, if you cast it and then you get hit by a tornado, it won't snare you. It'll remove the poison damage if you're taking poison damage at the moment. It's really, really good. Now let's see what it looks like with the SFX on. Now, of course, as always with these APK videos, I have to let you guys know that this may not be what you see in the final build, but I really cannot recommend this uniform enough if it makes it into the final build as is, because this is just so cool to be able to press these skills and to see these insane animations. I don't know why it got interrupted there. It was a bit weird. But he's a blast to play, super fun, super strong. He might actually even be good for PvP with 2 long iframes. You see 4 there is a long iframe, 5 is another long iframe. They seem to be uninterrupted iframes. Now, of course, it's always difficult to see uninterruptible iframes from PvE versus PvP. And unfortunately, we can't test any PvP on the APK, so it's really just up to my guess. But this skill is really what makes me think he could have some PvP potential, because if this is if this is a full iframe skill, which it seems to be a full iframe skill from when you turn the SFX off, if it's a full iframe skill, it's uninterruptible, it has iframe ignore, and it has that crazy damage, you're gonna one-shot most characters. And the beautiful thing here is, as a speed type, you know, the nightmare of nightmares for PvP is really in trouble here in Jean Grey. So I think this uniform is a really awesome upgrade. I think if you play ABX, it's obviously a must-buy because he's going to be the de facto speed villain for the update. You may still want to keep Electro around at 6 stars because his leadership will buff Dr. Octopus because he is a member of the Sinister Six. A cool thing you can do with his 3rd skill, by the way, is cancel it as soon as you see the spiders coming out. Just in case you're worried about the buff activating on his 3rd skill, you can see that the spiders pop up when he sort of lifts up. But I don't think it does trigger on his 3rd skill. I'll do more testing, but from the looks of it, it stays around. And so you can actually wait until the skill is basically over, and then you can press something else to get that buff. But man, like, this is so cool here. It doesn't seem to be an iframe, actually. Oh, no, it is an iframe, but I'm getting hit by the purple spears, I think. Or, yeah, I think I was getting hit by something that ignores iframes during her animation and phase change. I'm not playing, you know, super safely. I'm just showing you guys how cool he looks, and he also looks pretty strong as well, but I'll leave that final determination for when I get to play him myself on my account. So Dr. Octopus is an absolute banger. What about Red Skull? So Red Skull is also a villain. He's a blast type now. He's back to his original typing. He's got this new ability, Cosmic Cube. He's got the new striker thing. Now, if you've played as Captain Marvel since she got her rework, her Marvel MCU rework, and then her Endgame rework, you will know how to play as Red Skull. Basically, his 1, 2, 3, and 4 skill all work differently. You can read differently as worse until you press Cosmic Skull. once you press Cosmic Skull, not only does he get an insane buff, 60% attack, 5% all speed, and 60% crit rate for 15 seconds, but that buff will then augment his abilities. So just like Captain Marvel, when she reaches in and does that Radiant Form Blast, then her fourth skill has more hits and more like flashy animations. Her first skill has more hits, her second skill has more hits, her third skill has more hits, and it even changes her tier 3 skill. Now, I don't think Red Skull changes his awakening skill when he uses 5th skill, except for the fact that he's glowing, but a very simple explanation and a very simple way of showing you is his 4th skill. I was confused on the APK when we were watching the live stream with Cage and Kim and Michael. When they press his 4th skill, he just stands there and he doesn't move, and you can see I'm trying to move the joystick up above me, and I can't move. There's no V-pad. You think it's a V-pad skill, right? It is a V-pad skill, but you have to press this first. So he roars, and now you can V-pad. And as you can see, there's cosmic cubes flying around. This is like way cooler and way stronger, way more hits. And of course, it's going to be way more damage, not only because the skill itself has more hits, but because you've got that insane 60% all attack, 60% crit rate buff. And this is the same for all of his skills. So his second skill, you know, it looks pretty cool. He flies around. It looks kind of Iron Man-ish. But now you hit the thing, you go the thing, and now you got the blue coming around. You got all these extra plumes coming up from the ground of this blue explosion. And the same thing goes for his first skill. You've got these extra punches, and you've got that wave that lasts. That wave obviously won't be there if the buff is gone. As you can see now, it seems so lame, of course. So yeah, this is basically like the male villain version of Captain America, or Captain Marvel, which I love. You can see his third skill gets extra hits as well, and extra blast there when he throws a little cosmic cube. So they did a really good job. Again, I think both of these uniforms are exactly what we need. Marvel Future Fight devs, if you're listening, you're making some mistakes here with the strikers, but you're making some successes, I guess, at the same time. You're getting some things right, which is why these updates are so polarizing and so frustrating. You are getting some things right. The Dr. Octopus uniform and the Red Skull uniform are massive, massive wins, and they didn't nerf Red Skull. He still has the Hero Hunter passive, which some people expertly pointed out would make him very good for Quicksilver and Cable and Scarlet Witch World Boss. Those are the only 3 World Boss stages that are actually typed as heroes, which is why you can't use like Shuri to buff your damage or Coulson to buff your damage. He buffs your guaranteed crit, but that's it. Not only did they keep his 120% increase and 20% decrease damage received and dealt, but they also gave him plus 30% all attack, which is absolutely bonkers bananas. So he's rocking 23,000, and this build is not even complete. Now, he's also got a CTP of Rage, so, you know, keep in mind that the damage I'm showing you guys is not necessarily going to be the damage that you get, but I'm not trying to give you an exact replica because, you know, the APK is not going to be an accurate representation compared to what you've been watching for years on my account with my builds. Nevertheless, I want to show you some gameplay with Red Skull. The one thing that I think is going to be annoying for some players with Red Skull is that against certain world bosses, he can have his 4th skill interrupted. So you may want to consider giving him something with guard break immunity. He does have super armor, but it only activates when he goes below 40% HP, which is like super annoying and super useless. So that is the one criticism I have of this uniform, is that he can get guard broken on his during his 4th skill, and that can be really frustrating. But with the iframe on 2 and the all defense down and yada yada yada, the rest of his kit is pretty much untouchable. So good. And that 6th skill, we haven't even talked about the 6th skill yet, but let's pop this. You see the roar here. We're gonna pop this one over here. We still haven't crit, but that's okay. The damage is still respectable. Okay, we're going over here. Now we're gonna pop the 6. You can see he's glowing. Now you can actually cancel the 6 as soon as you see those explosions behind him. I'm not going to cancel it, but just so that you guys know, SFX on or SFX off, as soon as you see the explosions happen behind him, you can go ahead and cancel. Now hopefully we don't get the 4th skill interrupted, but if we do, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. But man, like, he's got it all. He's got protection, he's got immunity. We're getting hit here. A little bit of a bad timing, but you can see he doesn't even take that much damage from attacks. And you can always just pop the 4th skill again to get more immunity and protection there, and then you can use the 4th skill even to reposition. So having an immunity skill that also allows you to reposition is actually really powerful. He's got like a pretty complete kit. Again, the only thing he's really missing would be... There, I got interrupted. You can see I pressed the 4th skill for the immunity, but because of the tornadoes, I did get interrupted. Pretty much the only thing he was missing, like Captain Marvel, would be a heal. I don't think he has iframe ignore like Captain Marvel, except on his 6th skill. His awakening skill should probably have iframe ignore. I haven't tested it in depth, so I can't say with 100% certainty. You guys know that I don't like to say things unless I know for absolute sure. But it does seem to have... I think it has crazy damage. It does seem to have iframe ignore in World Boss, at least, from what I've seen from my limited testing, because I've only had the APK for like 36 hours. But man, like it's a brand new character. It's for 1,000 crystals, you're getting a brand new character. I could not have imagined a better upgrade for him. I also think, like Dr. Octopus, I shouldn't have gotten stunned there. I also think, like Dr. Octopus, he has potential for PvP because of this insane skill and the insane buff. We're actually gonna die here because he used the slam down skill. Thanos, Thanos, Thanos. You're such a tricky bastard. Yeah, he used that slam down skill with the purple lines that penetrates iframe, making Red Skull die. Tragedy. Anyways, yeah, I don't think I need to do an in-depth review of these uniforms because they're just absolutely insane. If you think anything that you're seeing is fun, you're gonna have a blast playing with these uniforms. I'm having a blast. You know, they've got so many different effects. They've got crazy damage buffs. Oh, he does have a heal. What am I saying? He does have a heal. I completely forgot about that. Wow, yeah, he does have a heal. Whoops. So he had, yeah. And then this guard hit for 3 seconds is crazy too, because it refreshes every second. Yeah, wild. Yeah, he's gonna be really, really good. So yeah, look forward to the full review when the update is live, but I don't want to do a full review until you guys have a chance to get these uniforms as well. So hopefully this sort of mini review, mini preview kind of thing is sufficient. And of course, I still have PvP testing to do with them and the other high-level content like GBR, so that'll have to wait until then. But yes, let me know what you think of Dr. Octopus, Superior Octopus, and Hydra Red Skull. Are these the Rogue and Ronin reworks that the villains have been asking for, and do we need more of these? Yes, we absolutely need more of these reworks for villains. It was a bit of a rhetorical question. Hit me up in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.